Yes, master.
This week we're doing top 5 characters for Squad Arena in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So Maurice, who do we have at number 5? Who's the 5th best arena character in the game?
Well, number 5 is going to be Thrawn, I believe, yes?
Yes.
Thrawn is number 5. You can make a case he could be much, much higher. And he may. If the meta changes, he would probably rise up. But out of all the legendary characters, all the Hero's Journey characters, he has remained a staple in the meta ever since he was released. Just a fantastic character. The ultimate disruptor with Fracture. You know, he's got the weird speed up ability block mechanic. Has a turn meter move where he feeds turn meter swaps turn meter with an opposing, you know, or an ally. Swaps the turn meter and gives them protection. Is very, very fast. Base speed is very high, among the best in the game. Just a great character. Pretty good leadership ability too. Zetas are squad specific, and you can run him just as effectively without the Zetas. A great raid character. I mean, every comp, every game breaking comp we've seen that does massive damage in any of the raids usually includes Thrawn. So just an all around great character, fleet commander. He's on probably half the arena teams in my shard in the midst of the Traya meta, and he's not a Sith. So I mean he's on Traya teams. Like he is the odd man out. You know, a lot of teams, not a Sith. Like the 5th character that's not a Sith. He's one of them. So
he's such a fantastic all-around character. I mean, you know, on top of the fact that he's the captain of a capital ship, he's also, I mean, in arena he's got such a an ability. I mean, to give protection to his allies, give them 100% turn meter, remove all buffs so he dispels. He's also got fantastic leader ability. I mean, even though it's not really meta right now, I mean, you could beat some teams with his leader ability still if you have the right components around him. He's got Fracture, which is an ability that only he has, and that pretty much holds characters in place and renders characters like Darth Nihilus, Traya, Scion unusable. When they're under Fracture, they can't do anything, and that's a fantastic ability and why he's here. If you mod him for speed, make him fast and one of the fastest character to go on the board, you can pretty much choose whatever character you want to disable to start the encounter, and that's why so many people have him in arena right now, because he's just a great 5th character to throw in to kind of control the board and give yourself an early advantage in the battle. And he doesn't exactly do that on defense. For the most part, he does give turn meter and protection regen if somebody gets attacked first, which I'm not really a huge fan of. I wish he on defense always went for Fracture first, but that's just not what he does. So he's got a ton of great abilities. He's a fantastic character, better on offense than he is on defense. But overall, just definitely a top 5 arena character without a doubt. So Thrawn is number 5. Moving along to number 4 character in Squad Arena is Bastila Shan. You guys didn't see that coming. You didn't see Bastila coming. I did, because it's my list. Okay, and I'll tell you, you may fight me on this, but she deserves to be here. Bastila is tremendous. I mean, she makes all the Jedi great. Her ability to to increase her leader ability is fantastic. She basically increases tenacity. You can't stick debuffs on anybody. Okay, you can't ability block them. You can't stun them. You can't do anything. These characters with behind a Bastila lead, they can't. They barely ever. Palpatine basically is useless. You can't stick shock. You can't stun them. Scion can't stick any debuffs. I mean, basically, they're also gaining a whole ton of protection, and they're able to withstand a whole bunch of waves of damage to start the encounter, which was one of the biggest problems with the Jedi going into the Sith meta, was that they were too squishy to fight the Sith. So now they're not behind the Bastila lead, and they also get a turn meter bonus to start the encounter, which makes them all go first. So I mean, overall, I mean, her leader ability is fantastic, and she's definitely one of the best characters in Arena right now. Besides the fact that she calls in assist, gives her own ability, which is legendary Masters training, to allies, and can give them a whole bunch of buffs like crit chance up and crit damage up, and has ability block on her basic. I mean, that would be an ability that in itself would be fantastic if she wasn't facing against a Sith all the time. If she was facing against other characters, that ability block would actually work and be significant and be a fantastic way to stop characters from doing some of their first attacks. It may be one of the attacks you'd go with first if you were facing, let's say, a Thrawn team or something like that. But overall, she's tremendous. She has the ability to stun with Dispel. She does almost everything. What are your thoughts, Maurice?
Well, I mean, I was considering excluding her from the list altogether, but you kind of convinced me. For just the utility she brings out of a otherwise worthless faction, definitely is worth noting. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much touched on it. You're the Jedi Homer of the two of us, so
I am
talk me into it, and I think you're right. I think she's not perceived as a great arena unit because we're in the midst of a Traya meta. In the midst of it, like once the Traya meta kind of fizzles out, we see more of a balanced type, some variety. I think Bastila will be way better. Just unfortunately, she was released right in the midst of her hard counter in Traya. And long term wise, she's a great investment. And you guys should totally, if you have any Jedis on your roster above Gear 10, you should probably invest in Bastila just because she's so easy. It makes them totally usable in any PvP setting.
And I can see the argument that Grandmaster Yoda might be just as important, but he's really not.
No. Because I mean, how many Grandmaster Yoda leads and why Shard lasted all of 3 days? Yeah, they came and left.
And it's still a good leader, but I'm saying this is by far better. And on top of that, I mean, Grandmaster Yoda as a support character, very important, but almost a necessity on a Bastila team.
This is a lead that's going to get much better post mod update as well, because that protection up, I believe, is health based. In health, anything health based in terms of mods will get significantly better post update. So there'll be even more protection for you to chew through before you get to their actual health and protection pool. So she will get a little better, in the coming weeks. So
she's also behind a paywall. So I mean, once you have her 7 stars. And you can use her in the raids. I mean, she is going to be tremendous in that Sith raid whenever you get her the 7 stars. We've already seen footage of her, basically slapping up everybody's damage. And I mean, coupled with crit damage up, crit chance up, and then Master's training, I mean, everybody's going to be doing, all the Jedi are going to be doing a ton of damage. You could do 4 or 5 million with a Bastila lead, and that's probably on the low end. If you put together the right squad around her, you could probably do more than that. So, yeah, I think she's overall a very good character, and especially for Arena right now, that's why you see her kind of moving up the list, and why she's the one of the best leaders at rank 1 right now. But that's our number 4 character in Squad Arena at the moment. Moving along to our number 3 best character in SWGOH for Squad Arena, we have Darth Nihilus. You know him as the Lord of Hunger. So, why is Darth Nihilus here, Maurice?
Annihilate. Well, just annihilate, force drain, cooldown reduction, and now when you pair him with the Triumvirate, he just gets an absurd health pool that if you let it go and go and go, it's almost you just can't get through it. I mean, you can watch it. Like, put your arena, if you run Traya in Arena, Traya lead, put your gameplay on like 1 time, 2 times speed, and watch how much health he regenerates every time you hit a debuffed enemy. 20,000, 30,000, recovering 40,000 health, and that's 10%. That's so which means his health pool can climb upwards of 400, 500,000 hit points, and that's insane, right? I mean, that's nutty.
To the point where, to the point where you can only eliminate him with another Darth Nihilus.
Yeah, the only way you're taking him out is expose or annihilate. Yeah, that's it. Ball game. I mean, IPD can't. I mean, IPD will go in, blow up, and like take a quarter of his health off. It's silly. Right. I mean, but he's been ever since he's released. I mean, people use him 3-star Gear 7 in Arena. It just effectively, like, just a crazy PvP character. Very little to no use in the Sith raid, unfortunately. But just we're talking PvP, and he is definitely. I mean, even I have Bastila teams on my shard that use Nihilus as one of the members. I mean, just he's total plug and play. Granted, he's way better with the Triumvirate, but you can throw him in any team, much like Thrawn. Just plug and play character.
He's arguably the best character in the game overall, and I mean, there's a couple other characters you could say that are in that category as well. If you talk about raids and other things like that, but as far as PvP is concerned, this guy makes it happen. Okay, he can increase others' cooldowns. He dispels with his basic. He can basically he can take out an entire character, no matter how much health they have, with one attack. And that's not something that anybody else does. He has an insta-kill ability that doesn't exist. I mean, other characters have abilities that are close to that, but nobody has a guaranteed insta-kill ability other than Darth Nihilus, and he's just a tremendous all-around character. I mean, his pool of health, like Maurice said, with a Traya lead, can become tremendous, and he can become almost indestructible if you don't annihilate him. And if you make him fast and you get him on a team where he sticks a lot of debuffs because you have that Zeta on him, and he's able to increase their cooldowns. I mean, he's also working great on a Bastila team as a 5th as well, not just Sith teams. So he's a character you can use on a lot of different compositions, and he performs and is a essential part of that team. Basically, because of that annihilate ability, he becomes a fantastic component to add against a Nest team, another Nihilus team, or really any other team that has a character that's difficult to take out. But that's our number 3 character in Squad Arena for SWGOH. Moving along to our number 2 character in Squad Arena is Enfys Nest. Oh man. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably swirling right now talking about Enfys Nest at number 2. Why? These guys are nuts. Well, let me tell you. Okay, Enfys Nest can basically 1v5 your entire team. Okay, Enfys Nest has a tremendous set of abilities. I mean, the AoE daze, dispelling with her special, stun, dispelling with her basic. Dispel with her basic, stun with her special. She stacks protection, and she just looks really cool. Why do you think Enfys Nest is here, Maurice? Why do you think she's number 2? This was your pick.
Well, I mean, she's, in my opinion, the very best character in the entire game. She is, because yes, she has AoE daze. Yes, she counters. Yes, she exposes. But the reason she is so good is because if you can get her to go first, it's the first time in months that your team can have an actual proper turn order. She goes first, removes the turn meter, and then you can, the other 4 characters, you can clock them properly to where they actually function as a team. Like on my team, my Enfys Nest goes first, right? I make sure she goes first. I have both the Gear 12 plus pieces on her. She flies.
She's fast enough.
Yeah, just fast enough to go first. She goes first and removes the turn meter, and then I have the rest of my team clocked properly. So it's the same thing every single time. There's no RNG at all on when I'm running offense. So it's Nest goes first, removes the turn meter. Scion goes, dispels everybody, drops the pain, which is irrelevant because it's a Traya team. They're just going to dispel it, right? But then Scion goes, then Thrawn goes and fractures Traya, and then Nihilus goes, sucks the cooldowns, and then Traya goes and then does her isolate on Nihilus. 100% of the time, no RNG. Like, I know how my team's going to work every single time I go into an arena battle, and that is why she is so important. I mean, we've been dealing with Sith for months now, and it's just a total RNG fest. She eliminates RNG, which is a very underrated capability. like we're so used to the Sith now, even with Maul, even that meta, just RNG dependent, and she takes some of that out. And I think that's why she's number 2. AoE Days is pretty awesome too, right? That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Very, very good Zeta, can bypass taunt, which is annoying if you don't have her Zeta, because then you just find yourself constantly hitting Scion every single turn with her. But if you do put that Zeta on, she gets crazy health steal. That's why we see her in all these game modes. Like, I think somebody, made a video of her soloing, like P5, P6 of territory battles just by herself. It's because of that Zeta. Just a great character. You can use her at 3-star. You don't have to go, climb the paywall to get her. 3 stars fine. Gear 9, 10 is fine, but she will be squishy. But you guys need to save some resources when she does come out. Farmable. Excuse me. I would suggest going straight for her. Like, she is one of the few characters I would ever suggest for you to stop your current farm and go for.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely worth it. And
excuse me. I'm sorry about the choke.
It's all right.
All right.
Yeah, she has a tremendous set of abilities. I mean, also counterattack, which is kind of why she's able to 1v5 your team if you don't take her out early enough. And with her protection stacking, if you leave Nest for last, you could be in big trouble. So you want to make sure you take her out early on in the battle, or at least as early on as possible. And she's overall a fantastic grab, especially for a marquee character that you can use at 3 or 4 stars. And just get her the gear 10, gear 11, and she's ready to go. All she needs is that Zeta, and she could be a viable option. And, this is definitely a homer pick here by good old Maurice. But we're going to go ahead and consider that our number 2 Squad Arena character in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Moving along to our number 1 Squad Arena character in Galaxy of Heroes. This is going to be a total shocker, guys. You're never going to see this one coming. It's Darth Traya. So, obviously, I would love to, pick a wild, interesting pick here and say it's Ugnaught or, somebody who you didn't expect. But the facts are the facts. And when you're talking about Squad Arena right now, and how much we're hyping up the Darth Traya lead and how it's going to be the meta for the foreseeable future, Darth Traya is number 1 in Squad Arena, and that's because, I mean, she just basically turned the game upside down. She's got, tons of damage. Her isolate ability basically renders characters useless. She's with her leader, basically taking damage away from your opponents every single turn. I mean, she's just a force to be reckoned with. On top of that, she has, special synergies with the Triumvirate. So if you stick her in there with a Nihilus and a Scion, she just, adds more and more utility to the squad. And, I mean, what are your thoughts on her? Like, why do you think, she's number 1 here?
Well, you touched on it earlier in the show. Like, when you get Traya, you put the Zeta on her unique first. And what that unique does is every time a Sith ally starts her turn, they just instantly shed all the debuff. And yes, they lose health per debuff, but every time you attack a debuffed opponent, which using a Sith team, the opponents are always going to be debuffed, you just get the health right back. This is much like Bastila, like I mentioned earlier. This is going to be another case of she's going to get even better post mod update, because her kit grants the 40% potency and also crit avoidance, right? And these in potency and crit avoidance are going to be enhanced a little bit, but the tenacity is getting a big boost. And with her crit avoidance and potency leadership perks, it's going to kind of calm down that boost they've given to tenacity. Crit avoidance arrows are going up to 35%, I believe. So if you slap one of those on Sith Trooper, that's 75% crit avoidance. So that's a lot of crit avoidance. That means, let's say your character's 50% crit chance, half the time you're going to crit right, but only 25% of that time is the crit actually going to go through. And it's going to be pretty incredible to see. I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more crit avoidance arrows on Sith Trooper if you're not using one already. It is pretty nasty. It's going to be tough. Just a great all around character. I mean, just the best arena character there is. It just
hands down.
I mean, yeah.
And that's our number 1 squad arena character in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We do have an honorable mention this week, and she was the number 1 squad arena character for a long time before Trey and Palpatine came along, and that is Rey Jedi Training. So basically, Rey is one of the few teams out there, one of the few leaders out there that can still dethrone a Trey or a Palpatine when coupled with the right components around her. And you know, she really has a tremendous amount of abilities that, the ability to dispel, ability block, expose, call in, assist. Her leader is fantastic for Jedi and for droids, especially when coupled with BB-8. I mean, what are your thoughts about Rey?
Well, this is an offensive pick. If you're in a newer shard or you're a little bit lower in arena, you can climb with Rey. You can beat everything with Rey. It's just you are going to wake up pretty upset the next day if you leave her in there. Just a great kit overall. She's made tons and tons of these top 5 lists we've done over the months, and just big damage, pair with BB-8, all sorts of crazy damage, foresight mechanic, self-healing with that Zeta, great leadership ability. Anytime resistance ally crits, pretty much, it's an exposed characters, lose a little bit of turn meter, all sorts of great mechanics. And this thing you throw with R2 BB-8, and you can just pick X and Y to round out your team. You can use Resistance Trooper, Scavenger Rey. You can use some of these other droids.
Nest.
You can, Nest. I mean, Old Ben people use, General Kenobi. Just pick a tank, just throw it in there. It's effective. Just a very, very good, very, very good. Definitely worth the investment, and that it's and you almost worth the investment in those veteran characters.
Yeah, definitely. Almost is the key word there.
Yeah, almost.
yeah. But that's our top 5 squad arena characters in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, courtesy of the Alliance. Good old Maurice and I. If you guys like that, please leave a like on the video. Definitely smash that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel.
Yes, Master.